Shalom everyone, Shavua Tov, and we are in Parashat Mikkets, and Parashat Mikkets is always being read during Hanukkah. So there is a very strong connection between the Parashat Mikkets and Hanukkah. We'll see how it is connected to our everyday life. Now, Parashat Mikkets, if you're following the Torah readings, so in this amazing story of Joseph in the dream color technical dream code. So we had Joseph being presented to us in the past Parashat Vayeshev. He was stolen by his brothers. They wanted to kill him. They sold him. He went to Egypt. The miracle happened. He ran the whole business of Potiphar. Then the wife of Potiphar, she wanted him, and he ran away from her bedroom. And she got upset. He was sent into jail, and in jail he met these two celebrities, the wine steward and Pharaoh's baker. And the wine steward had a dream. Both had a dream, by the way. And Joseph, as the guy running the jail, he always ran everything he was involved with. He always found a way to do that. So if you want to the details, you listen to last week's parasha. But in this week's parasha, it's like 2 years later. You know, that's how it is, the movie. The last scene, Joseph wakes up him in the morning. He goes to see the two celebrities, the wine steward, and both are upset. And he's asking them, why are you upset? And they tell him they had a dream. And he tries to understand their dreams, and he gives them an interpretation. And from these interpretations, we have, again, dreams. And this story continues with dreams, because he told them in the dreams that the wine steward, he told him first that in 3 days, your Pharaoh is going to get you back into your position. And everything is going to be like a bad nightmare that you forgot. But for the baker, he's saying in 3 days, Pharaoh is going to take your head off your shoulders, and it's over with. So, and that's the way it happened. And then Joseph is saying to the wine steward, when you get back to your position, just make sure to get me out of here, please. Okay, that was the last scene. And it says the wine steward did not remember Joseph. Okay, that was last parasha. So in our parasha, you have this message 2 years later. However, in the Hebrew, the name of the parasha is Mikkets, and Vayim Mikkets Shnatayim Yamim. So if you know Hebrew, you don't say Mikkets when you want to say 2 years later. Mikkets is a very strong definition. We use the word ketz as the end of period, but you use the word as ketz, like the ketz, the end of the life of a villain, which means when somebody really evil died, that he reached his demise. That's ketz, demise. So the word over here is demise. So the story, just to, if you didn't watch the musical, okay, so the story is starting with, and we are in Genesis chapter 41, verse 1, and then 2 years later, in the demise of 2 years, Pharaoh has a dream, and he's on the Nile. And from the Nile, he sees 7 fat, good-looking cows coming out, and then after them come 7 skinny, bad-looking cows, and they swallow up the fat, good-looking cows, and it's over. He wakes up. And then a dream with the 7 ears of wheat, and the same story, 7 good ones, and the 7 bad ones swallow up the 7 good ones, and he wakes up. Now, we know that all the wizards and wise men of Egypt try to interpret Pharaoh's dreams, and he does not feel they really know what that's saying. Okay? Now he's more upset because nobody can give him a right interpretation. Suddenly, what it says, here it is. Verse 9, chapter 41. וידבר שר המשקים את פרעה לאמור את חטאי אני מזכיר היום. And the wine steward says to Pharaoh, I mentioned my sins. Today I mentioned my sins. פרעה קצף על עבדיו, פרעה had a rage over his servants, and ויתן אותי במשמר ביצר הטבחים, and then he put me in the jail, me and the baker. ונחמה חלום, and we had a dream, one night. אני והוא איש כפתרון חלום וחלמנו, each one has his own separate dream. ושם איתנו נער עברי, and there was a Hebrew boy in the jail, a slave of the שר הטבחים, פוטיפר. ונספר לו, and we told him our dreams. And interpreted our dreams, each one of us, a different interpretation. ויקשר פתר לנו כן היה, and the way he interpreted our dreams, that's the way it happened. He brought me back on my position, and he hung the baker. Who's he? Joseph. We learn from that the interpretation of the dream will create the result of the dream, which means we learn from that, as the Zohar says, you never tell your dreams to people who don't like you. You never tell your dreams to people even that do like you, but they don't know how to interpret dreams, and they don't know how dangerous it is to interpret dreams in a negative way, so you never do it. You tell your dream only to people who love you, and they know how to interpret the dream because they know there's a responsibility behind it. After the words of the wine steward, Vayishlach Paro, verse 14, Vayishlach Paro vayikra et Yosef, and Pharaoh sent and he calls Joseph. Vayiritzu min habor, and they rushed him out of the pit. Again, he's being rushed out of the pit. Vayigalach, they washed him, they shaved him, they made him look like somebody standing in front of the Pharaoh. Vayachlef simnotav, they dressed him with nice clothes. Vayavol Paro, and he comes to Pharaoh. Vayomer Paro el Yosef, chalom chalamti ufoter enoto. And Pharaoh says to Joseph, I had a dream, and nobody can interpret it properly. Vani shamati alecha, and I heard about you, saying, Tishma chalom niftor, you know how to listen to a dream, how to interpret it. Vayan Yosef et Paro, and Joseph answers Pharaoh, le'emor, answering, Biladai Elokim yane et shlom Paro. From God will come, he will give the answer and the peace of Pharaoh. And then Pharaoh tells the dreams to Joseph, and we all know history has been changed forever because of this dream. Joseph comes out of jail, he becomes the ruler of Egypt, he makes Egypt this very, very rich, powerful empire. Jacob comes with his sons to Pharaoh. 400 years later, there is the Exodus, we got Pesach, we got Passover, Mount Sinai revelation, and the world has been changed forever, and it's all starting today. Okay, in this parasha. So what is it? What's in it for us? And here we learn also about, here's an overnight success. Overnight, Joseph, from a slave in the dungeon, he becomes the king of the biggest empire in the world. What do we learn from that? Okay, so we need the Zohar in order to give us the answering for what it is. Vayi Mikkets shnatayim, and it was at the demise of 2 years, which means the 2 years after the dreams, the dreams of the wine steward and the baker. Vayi Mikkets. Rabbi Achia patach v'amar, and Rabbi Achia is quoting from Proverbs chapter 9, Ketz sam lachoshech, or lechol tachlit uchoker, even ofel v'tzal mavet. Translation, Ketz sam lachoshech, and of course God puts the demise to darkness. So when we hear the word Mikkets, of course that for Joseph, that was the end of the darkness. It was the end of the long period of being a slave, being in jail, and suddenly, not even overnight, it's like very short time, he's out of jail and he's on the throne, the most powerful man on earth at that moment. So what what's in it for us, as we say. So he's bringing that thing that this is that the word Mikkets, it's about the end of darkness. So we know what is Hanukkah. Hanukkah is about the end of darkness because it's a holiday of light. And how do you remove darkness from the world? Bringing light. You don't fight the darkness, you bring the light in. Now, what does it mean? Ketzam lechoshech, the end. He puts an end to darkness. Zeu, says the Zohar, Dayu ketz lismola. This is the end for the left. What do you mean the left? Dehu shat be'alma ve'shat leila ve'kaima kamei kudsha bichu ve'astar ve'katrig al alma ve'atmar לכל תכלית הוא חוקר דהכל עבדוי, לאו ינון לטב, אלא לשצאת אדיר ולמיבד כליה בעלמה. I was reading from the Zohar, now I'll translate. He says this is the end for the left. What does it mean the end? To the left. So we learned in the previous parashot, lots of them, since Avraham is coming out of Ur, right? Lech Lecha. We learned that there are three forces we have to activate inside our consciousness in order to have success or whatever good in our lives. One is the energy of chesed, loving kindness, which we learn or we connect to through Abraham and our behavior. Okay, this is one of them. And the other one, this is gvura, judgment, left column. So every person, same way, if you want to move from one place to another place, what do? You activate your right leg, your left leg, your right leg, your left leg, and if you're sober, you go straight, right? If you're not sober, you go to the right and to the left, and there's no guarantee you're going to reach the place you really, you want to get there. Maybe you're going to forget on the way where you're going to anyway, okay? But if you're sober and your physical shape is okay, it's proper, it's in the right place, then you use the right and left, and you get straight to the point. Now, the right, we said, this is the power of sharing and caring and chesed. Without it, you cannot connect to the light of God. Without it, you have no reason and meaning to life, and you have no protection. But, on the same time, you need to activate the left column, which is what's in it for me. Without having any income, you cannot feed anyone. You cannot make any good to others. Finally, you have to take care of yourself. And that's the left. The left means me, and the right means us, helping, caring the others. So you need both in order to function. Let's say you have a business. You have to take care of your customers, and you have also to make sure that you have a business to stand. You have to pay the bills, and so on, so you can have the resources to continue caring for your customers. So you need the right and the left, and that's super important. However, not like in the Chinese wisdom that you have the yin and the yang, and they have to be balanced one in front of each other without mixing them together. Here, we have a third force, which is having them both, which means you need to want it as big as possible, however, for the sake of sharing and caring for others. And that's how you generate the third force, which is the central column, Jacob. Okay, now this is the whole story. However, the moment a person is focused only on the left, which means only about me, and I don't care about others, I don't care about others, it's just about me, the result will be dire. Why? Because, as I said many, many times, I never met happy, selfish people. Why? Because the wisdom of Kabbalah is teaching us that similar entities, they can communicate. The more different you are from certain cosmic frequency, the more disconnected you are. If you want to have abundance and bliss, happiness, fulfillment in your life, you need to get it from the source, which is the light of the creation. And the light of the creation is chesed. Chesed means loving kindness. So, what can you do? The moment you are activating only the left, which is selfish, selfish thinking, um, whatever, it's defined by being selfish and egotism and stuff like this, you are disconnected from bliss. You can experience some kind of burst of bliss for a short time. It doesn't stay. It doesn't last. Why? It's against the rules of the universe. This is how the universe is structured. Okay, what can we do? So, if you want to have good life, you have to do good to others. And you have to mean that. Because you need to activate the right side, which is loving and caring. The left is bad news. So when it says, what is the left? This is the end. This is darkness. Because, says the Zohar, this is Satan. This is the angel of death. Because using only the left, only selfishness, only I want to receive, only by that is that feel or that entity in the universe which is basically called the angel of death. Death is the left and the left is death. Okay, now, and that angel of death is what creates judgment, what bothers us, what blocks our life, what creates all what we call not lucky, disasters and stuff like this. Because, when there is no light, there is darkness. So darkness is not an entity, but it feels like an entity the moment there is an absence of the light. The light is an entity. The light fills the whole world. However, there are rules to tap into the light and to communicate with the light. Okay? So the left, or that power that is called the angel of death, Kol ma'asav einam latov, all his actions are not for good, only to destroy and to bother. And you see people that becomes angels or agents of death. Because when you see a person that all his might is about destroying other people's lives, his own life, whatever, that's an agent of the dark side. That's the agent of the left. What does it mean left? Again, selfishness. Selfishness and egotism, we learn from history, have a very, very strong self-destructive mechanism. You just give them the time and they will annihilate themselves. Why? Because when you're not tapping into the light of the creation, then your days are numbered and your success is numbered. You can have this kind of outburst of success, but it will always be superficial and short. Short, can take even decades. But you see, all kinds of regimes of evil, they were successful maybe for a short time, and then they brought their own demise upon themselves. Okay? And many times not without even an enemy from the outside. Just because, as we said, this is a self-destructive mechanism. Now, the Zohar continues, and it explains that Satan or Satan or whatever you call it, or that dark force which is coming from selfishness, when a person is occupied with that, when a person is obsessed with that, that's a power that is called also a stumbling block. Okay, even negif. Why? Because you always stumble over it. You don't need anyone to stumble you. You just drop yourself into your own demise. Okay, come and see, says the Zohar. Yesh eretz hachaim lemala vezeu eretz Israel. There's a land of life, which is the land of Israel. And Jerusalem is the center of the land of Israel energetically and spiritually. And there is a land below, which is called the land of death and the shadow of death, Tzalmavet. Ofel ve'Tzalmavet, darkness and the shadow of death. Okay? And what is it? This is the end. This is the demise. Youdkevitch, which is the side of the darkness. Come and see. I'm reading now verse 3 in Rabbi Ashleg's commentary on the Zohar. כמה יש לבני אדם להסתכל בעבודת הקדוש ברוך הוא, להשתדל בתור הימים ולילות, כדי שידעו ויסתכלו בעבודתו. Remember how important it is for a person to be occupied in the Torah days and nights, so you should know the work of the Creator. Why? And as Zohar is explaining, when we are worshiping the Creator, it's not worshiping the Creator. The Creator has no need for us to worship Him. Not forever, He's okay, right? If you will pray to Him or not, He is okay. Why? He's an endless, and He needs no one, right? The endless is the source of everything. And by the way, if you say, thank God He took it away from me, the book of Job explains to us that God needs nothing, and He doesn't take away from anyone, because He's the source of anything. So what can He take from you that He doesn't have, right? This is kind of hard to understand. But because, religion of the Dark Ages is not over yet. People still think they do a favor to God when they observe certain kind of His rules. No, you're not doing any favor to God. You're doing a favor to yourself, because you're basically, when you're studying the Torah, it's not about religion. It's not about history. It's about connecting to that frequency which is called the tree of life. And when it's called the tree of life, which means, what do I mean the tree of life? You want to experience life, you have to connect to the tree of life. And the whole study of the Torah, the Zohar, whatever derivatives that are connected to it, it's all about one thing and one thing alone. How do we connect? How do we generate that consciousness of tree of life? Because we are here in this world for one purpose, and we spoke about it many, many times. The purpose of a human existence is about one thing and one thing alone. It's about generating that state of mind of spirituality. And spirituality, that means that we are here to create abundance. We're here to experience abundance. We're here to create happiness and bliss inside ourselves and outside ourselves, and whoever is approaching us. We spoke about it that Joseph achieves, last week's parasha, achieves his status by Potiphar's home, because although he was abused by his brothers, although he was stolen, almost killed, is now in a foreign country, whatever, he has all the excuses to need a psychiatrist right now, right, and a therapy, and to have a nervous breakdown. Instead of that, he creates abundance. And that's how he climbs to become the top of Potiphar's business. And he runs Potiphar's whole business. And by the way, without it, he wouldn't know what to tell Pharaoh. So he knows that whatever God is making in this world is for the good. So instead of mourning the past, he's facing the future. And what he's doing, in whatever environment he's at, he creates abundance. He creates happiness. He creates it in a way that people around him realize they're not very spiritual, they're Egyptians, idol worshippers, whatever, but they can tell when this is good. They can realize it's good. And when they realize it is good, they want to be part of it. Because everybody wants good. Everybody wants to share good. So let's say there's somebody in a neighborhood that is very successful, and he shares with everybody as he creates abundance. In the beginning, you want to fight him, and then you want to join him, right? You can beat them, you join them. That's the way the world is. So they don't know where it's coming from. They don't convert. They don't change their ways, but they want to be friends with Joseph. The same way that the enemies of Abraham and later on Isaac and Jacob, they all wanted to be his friends because they wanted to be close to that, what is called real, true, lasting success. Now, So when we're saying that the Torah is about teaching us the consciousness of the tree of life, it's about learning that we are here in this world to bring that abundance to this physical world. And what Rabbi Ezekiel is saying, Rabbi Ezekiel, the great Kabbalist from Tzfat, the 16th century, saying something very important that we have to understand. When a person wants to transform, when a person wants to achieve tikkun, he wants to achieve a spiritual status he didn't have before, he has to do it inside a physical body. So he says in his book, the Gates of Reincarnations, he's saying something very, very important. Let's say somebody achieved completion, spiritual fulfillment. He is in an okay state of, okay, he passed on, he went to heaven, he has his special place in heaven. And then he realizes that he's in coach. And there's business class, first class, there's special, like, higher classes, whatever. And he wants to upgrade himself. But the only way Rabbi Ezekiel is saying you can upgrade yourself, you can't upgrade yourself in heaven. You have to go back into a body, face challenges, overcome the challenges, turn the darkness into light and the bitterness into sweet. And then you can go up in a better and improved state. So now, are we just competing who's going to get a better place in heaven? No. The point is like this. We are in the place we're supposed to be. That's what we are. We're not here to get by. We're not here to just have it comfortable. We're here to overcome challenges. Why? Because that's the focal point of everything. There's nothing but that. So when the Zohar continues and says that when a person is, כשאדם עוסק בתורה מדבק בה, when a person is busy himself in the Torah, what I mean, that 24/7 is occupied with how do I apply all of these rules into my everyday walk and talk and whatever is my life. Why? Why busy? Because when a person is into business and he's really excited about his business, he doesn't think about anything else but his business. You watch a movie, it reminds you stuff about your business, right? You go to an opera, it reminds you stuff about something to do in your business. You go drinking coffee with your friends and they say something, that reminds me. Why? Because you're occupied with that. So when you study the Torah and you're really into it, you're occupied with that. What does it mean you're occupied with that? You're basically thinking all the time how to connect to the tree of life. When you're making coffee, when you're making breakfast, when you're making some money this way or another, whatever, it's all about one thing, connecting to the tree of life. When your brain, your mindset is all turned into that place, you become that person that always is finding the tree of life in any aspect of darkness, challenge, negativity, failure. There's no failure. There's no pain. It's only means to reach the goal. Most people, most of their lives, they're focusing on the means. They have no idea what's the goal. And when they get the list of the means, they think, this, money, possessions, real estate, cars, whatever, as we said before, there's so much stuff. And then they ask, so why is it that I'm not happy? Because you didn't use those means as a training system or the training arena to transform yourself to a person that is using the 3-column system. As I said, you did not work enough on developing the right column. You did not work enough to develop the left column properly, and you did not learn how to merge them so it becomes a tree of life. And becoming the tree of life means that whatever you experience, it's about growth, abundance, spirituality, beauty, and the greatness of the creation. It's not. It's just it. And the moment this is your mindset, you can make. There are those people that wherever you put them, they can turn heaven into hell. They can turn the gardens into desert. And there are those people that wherever you're going to put them, it's going to be the desert. They're going to turn into a garden. You put them inside the garbage. They're going to turn the garbage into a gold mine. That's abundance. Abundance is a state of mind, and Joseph is a symbol of the biblical level, which is called the Yesod, Sfirat Yesod, which is a state of mind of abundance. So again, you're not studying Torah for learning history. You're not studying Torah in order to connect to some religion. You're studying Torah in order to transform your state of mind, your thinking. All the time, you have to concentrate on that. And the more you you put yourself into it, the more you become that messenger and agent of abundance in this world. And that's what it is. And abundance means when a person experiences abundance, that means that he feels that he makes other people feel that. And when you make other people feel that, that feels light. That's enlightenment. So we are here in this world to bring the light from above to below. So then when it says, Bowe, Etz HaChaim, I'm reading in the 5th verse in the Zohar. The tree of life, בכמה מדרגות הוא מתחלק זה מן זה. There are many, many levels in the tree of life. That's why, by the way, the Zohar says it's called a tree. וכולם אחד, but all of them are one. כי בעץ החיים יש מדרגות אלו על אלו. You look at the tree. It's not one. It is one, but it's made of many, many levels. There is the trunk. There is the stuff around the trunk, inside the trunk. Everything is made of different parts. Okay? There are the branches. There are the leaves, the flowers, the seeds, the roots. All of them is the tree. The same way, whoever who toils himself in the Torah, he's fixing himself and strengthening his connection to the tree of life. So he becomes the agent of the tree of life. And that doesn't matter. It could be at work. It could be like strolling down the street. It could be family gatherings. It doesn't matter. You are an agent of the tree of life, which is our destiny. Nothing else. This is our calling. So what does it mean, faith? Emunah. Emunah. There's a code. Because the word emunah, it does not mean believe, because when you believe, it means you have doubts. It's not faith, because faith, I don't know, in modern English, it's like this word is being emptied. Emunah means the deepest connection possible. And it's coming from the word Amen. Amen, it means Kabbalistically the connection between the upper and the lower world, connecting the heaven and the earth into one. That's why we say Amen after a blessing, because by saying the Amen, we bring the heaven down to earth. When we say blessing, we bring the heaven down to earth. Whatever we do is about bringing the heaven to the earth, because that only humans can do that. Only humans. God created the empty, void world, this physical world, so we sit in the darkness, and we are the only ones who can bring the light in. Can you imagine? He cannot force it on us. Did you ever try to force somebody to be happy or to experience abundance? Impossible. A person has to want it, to focus on that, to transform himself into that state of mind, and then it comes in. Why? Because that dark point, which is called the creation, this world, our world, is our world to enlighten. The Creator doesn't enlighten. He waits for us to do that. So, And that's why, Rav, so when we say emunah, it's coming from the word amen, which is bringing that light. So what does it mean, emunah? It's not faith. It's about being connected to that big picture, to that oneness of the universe. While darkness is when you are separated from the light, from the energy of the creation, and you occupy yourself with absence, emptiness. So darkness is not a thing. Darkness is absence. All what we give it power because we believe in that. But the moment we don't believe in darkness anymore, because we have faith in the light, I'm asking you, can a ray of light see darkness? No, because wherever there's a ray of light, there's no darkness. So if you become an agent of the light, can you see darkness? You can't. So because wherever you go, you just see an opportunity to reveal light. So you don't see darkness. You don't see pain. So, that's why they say that, all of this research, it was published lately, that people are optimists, which means they see everything with a positive outlook of how can I experience positivity or whatever. They really are right because their lives is much better, and they're more lucky because they impose the light over their lives. But pessimists, they're also right because they push away the light, because the moment you're focusing on the darkness, you become darkness. You become an agent of darkness. And then you need to suffer. Not because somebody punishes you, it's a self-infliction. You inflict it on yourself. There are those people, whatever great that happens around, they insist, as we say, they have a problem for every solution. Right? Whatever you give them, that can be done. Yeah, but it can go wrong. But yeah, it's like, I know somebody that really was messed. Yeah, right? So this is like self-inflicted pain and misery. And being a pessimist is a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Oh, you'll see, it's going to be great. And then they're excited about, I told you. Why are you so excited about it, right? And you know why? Because being disappointed in the first place means that you're not going to be disappointed later on. So you fell a few times, you don't want to fall again. So the safest place is to sit in the garbage, because from there you can't fall anymore. This is not what life is about. This is about painful death. Joseph is the symbol of abundance and success because Joseph is focusing on success and not about what's wrong. That's how we reach that place. Now the Zohar brings us another issue, which is very important to remember. Vahi Mikkets Shaul, I'm reading now the 7th verse of the Sulam, of the Zohar. Ma'u Mikkets? What do you mean Mikkets? What's it mean, demise or end? Rabbi Shimon Amar, so Rabbi Shimon said, Hu makom she'en bo zechira. This is a place without memory. What means zechira? We need again to go back to Hebrew, because English, what can I say, was not created for that purpose. The word zechira, which is to memorize or remembering, is coming from the shoresh, like emunah is aleph mem nun. It's usually 3 letters. That's the source of every Hebrew word almost. Zechira, the shoresh is zayin kaf resh. Zayin kaf resh means a male. Male, cosmically. Male is the creator. The creation is female. The light is male. Okay? The recipient of the light is female. This is the way it's structured. So when we say Zachar, it means it's entrance of light. So when we have this thing, in Jewish tradition, that we celebrate this in memory of the Exodus. We celebrate this in memory of Shabbat. We're not into memorials. This is not into memorials. This is literally, you want to connect to the male force of the light and bring it in. Again, When you bring in abundance, you bring the male energy connected with the female energy. The male energy is the light of the creation, which is the force of life, the experience of abundance, and you bring it in to reality. And reality is the female. So reality is my business. Reality is my home. Reality is my body. Reality is wherever I am right now. Let's say I'm sitting and drinking coffee and eating cakes with friends. That's reality. So now I want the abundance to come in, and that's called memory. And that's, what I mean, memory. That's in opposition to forgetfulness. Forgetfulness in Hebrew is shichecha. Shichecha has the same letters as chashecha, darkness. What is forgetfulness? It's like you have the document, it's all written there, but there's darkness in the room, you can't read it. That's forgetfulness. No, it's not, it's gone, never been, never existed. It's there, but you have no access to it. Why? There's no light. So, darkness, forgetfulness is one thing. Memory, it's not about bad memories. We're talking about bringing in the light of the creator. And you know what? In the comics, when an idea is coming, when somebody remembers, what's the symbol? The light bulb is turning on. It's light coming in. Okay? So, why is that brought over here? Because we remember that in the last scene of the previous parasha, remember? Joseph is telling the wine steward, when you get out of this dungeon, remember me. And then it says that the wine steward forgot. He didn't remember Joseph, and he forgot him. It's like he didn't remember, there was no light coming, which means there's even a legend saying that the wine steward said, like, this genius guy I met in jail, I have to do something for him. And every morning he wakes up for 2 years, says, I have to do something for Joseph, and he forgets. Why does he forget? How many times, let's say, you leave home, you're going to the airport, and just as you're going to close the door, then suddenly, oops, the most important thing I forgot. Then thank God, like, why this memory came right now? You know how many times we can be so forgetful? And the most important thing we forget, and when we remember, it's too late. Do we have power over it most of the time? No. It's a matter of like luck. It's not playing cards, it's not playing dice, it's not God's grace, because God is always giving. It's about, do you fulfill your life with positive energy, which is called memory. Zohar, male energy. It doesn't matter if you're man or woman, that has nothing to do with that. Male energy means the energy of giving and loving and kindness. That's a male energy. That's an energy of the Creator himself. This is what it is. So how do you bring it in? You just behave that way. You see a dark place, bring light into it. You see somebody with a dark face, bring light into it. What if he doesn't welcome you? What if he doesn't acknowledge that? I didn't do it for him. I did it for him, but in sake of being that agent. And that's what we have to remember. We're here to learn to become agents of light, agents of positivity, agents of abundance. Why? That's our mission. You want to be the creator? That's what you have to do. You have to bring it. You have to create it. You have to generate it. Studying the Torah is not about religion. It's about learning how to generate that energy. First of all, in our minds, in our hearts. The moment you have it in, you can generate, project it, share it outside. We were created for that purpose. And you know what? When we feel that, we are the healthiest. When we don't feel that, we get sick. We're messed up. We're not nice. We're not behaving ourselves. It's not our best days. All of this is about one thing. Are we really agents of Sfirat Yesod, of positivity, of abundance? Now, and that's called memory. Now, We have to understand that the only way you can bring that good luck and abundance to your life, you have to go through the process. Does Joseph experience that immediately? No. He has to experience, although he's Joseph the righteous, he has to experience a lot of terrible challenges. He's not the first one. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they were righteous. They never had it easy. No free lunches. So if you think that being a great believer or having great faith and making all God's orders, doing that is going to make your life like blooming immediately, no. It needs the pace, and you need till you raise your consciousness to that place. It takes the steps it needs to take, like Joseph. Overnight success exists only after hard work of many, 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 many years. So, how many? I don't know. You never ask that question, because the moment you ask the question, you stop working. You're not working anymore. So, being a human being is being that person who becomes that agent, and you upgrade yourself step by step, and you cannot do it sitting in heaven. That's why we're here. We chose to be here because we wanted to experience that happening to ourselves. So, and that's why when Joseph saw the dream or heard the dream of the wine steward, he thought that's a message for me also. If somebody tells you a dream, it's not a message just for him. Why he tells it to you, not to somebody else, right? It's like it takes two, always. God is a great matchmaker. And he puts people to experience it together. So you're never just objective. Even science realizes there's no objective. You're always involved. If you're involved, it means you're involved. And that's part of you. So when he hears the wine steward telling the dream about 3 days from now, he thinks time has come. The light is being turned on 3 days from now. So when he asked the wine steward, please remember me, he was just jumping a little bit too fast. Yes, you should ask people's help. You need to ask for people's help. That's why we have a language. That's why we are in society. However, if you ask them for help and you're dependent from a place of dependency, then you have a problem, because it says you should not have any God but me. That's idol worshiping. That was Joseph's mistake. That's why the sages are saying, when Joseph realized that, he says, oh my God, I made a mistake. Please, excuse me. Please make the wise steward forget it. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Why? Again, every good, very good businessman, salesperson knows that principle. You have to put your effort into all your customers. Who is going to make the great sale? Who is not going to make the sale? None of your business. You know what? Because if you make it your own business, and it's like, oh, I put so much effort into that business, into that deal, and then the customer calls you. Today they don't call; they send you just a text message. Oh, forget it. I just found another way. We are off. The deal is off. It doesn't happen. Of course, it happens. If you are really dependent into that deal, and you're already, thinking about the house you build, the debts you pay, the trips you make out, all over the world, because of this business deal, now you're falling into a demise. Your own self-created demise. Why it's your own self-created demise? Because you created the dependency. And that's why you cannot become a businessman. You cannot be a salesperson. Why? Because every time somebody rejects you, you have a nervous breakdown. You can't. Or you cannot fall in love. You fall in love. You never get exalted in love. Because when you fall in love, the moment the subject of your love doesn't smile to you, respond to you, you have a nervous breakdown. Of course, you can't be in loving relationship because you just all the time, They love me, they don't love me. They love me, they don't love me. It's over, it's not over. You can't love like this. You can't do business like this because you are a slave of your whims. There's no memory coming in, only forgetfulness. A good salesperson knows I make the effort. I put the effort into this person, I do the effort. But who gives me the business? The light of the Creator. I do it from my point of view to do the best I can. What's the result? Sometimes you work on a business deal for months and you put so much effort in it and then it drops. And then the next day, somebody calls you, says like, can you give me, and within 5 minutes, I said, I wasted my time for 2 months. No, you did not. Simply, that business deal was not good for you. You didn't realize that, but it was not good for you. So the moment you know, I do my work, and the light and abundance will come. I don't know. My logic is not well equipped to know all the turns and all the secrets of the universe. I don't know what's good for me. You know, how many smart people sitting here watching that experience like making a decision that looked like so genius. Oh, I'm so genius. Oh, I'm so genius. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Right? It looks like genius, and then later on, it looks like, what an idiot. How couldn't I see the picture? What a wrong, what's wrong? Why, what the heck was I thinking about when I made this decision? Everybody experienced that. Don't trust your logic. Your logic is not equipped with that. But faith, emunah, tree of life, when you do that with the person you love, with the people you work with, and you realize that the reward and the light is the memory, it's coming from above. It's the abundance you bring in. If it's coming from that person, it will come from that person. If not, it will come from another person. They don't decide about me. They cannot decide how much money I'm going to make this month, this year. It's all my effort that brings the abundance in. And the agent will be the people that deserve to be the ones for that. So now that we realize that, one of the most powerful parts of the whole Zohar, is verse 32 in Perush HaSulam in the Zohar, which says, it's about that verse in the Torah that says, we read it before, verse 14, chapter 41, Vayishalach Paro Vayikra et Yosef, and Pharaoh send messenger to call Joseph, and they rushed him out from the dungeon. And the word Vayiritzu, and they rushed him out from the dungeon, that's a key, because the whole world is now changing in one word. And they rushed him out. After many, 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 many years of, like, think about it, he was 17 when he was stolen and sold as a slave. Most of his life, he was a slave. He was in a very dire position. And suddenly now the universe has no time anymore. Fast, fast, fast. They rush him out. There's no time. You have to become a king today, now. Can you imagine? When the time has come, the time has come. When it's not the time, it's not the time, and you should be patient. Okay? Rabbi Abba Patach v'amar. I'm reading in the 32nd verse in the Zohar of Sulam. Rotze Hashem et yira'ah v'gomer. He's quoting Rabbi Abba from Psalms 147. It says that God loves the people, the righteous people that have the awe of God. Says Rabbi Abba, Kama chafetz HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'tzadikim. Look how much the Creator loves the righteous people, because they make peace above and below, as we said before. Because they bring peace into this world by bringing the light of the Creator to this world. And that's why, and he says, and these are the ones also, Am Yachalim Lechasdo. These are the ones who are yearning for his chesed, loving kindness. What do you mean yearning? Because when they study Torah, And when they do the mitzvot and do everything, they do it for one purpose, to bring in that light of and bliss into everything they do, so it dwells in this reality, so everyone can enjoy it. So I skip a little bit because we don't have time anymore. And so the moment a person is focused on bringing that loving kindness to the world, bringing that bliss to the world, it doesn't mean he's going to see it happening, but he's going to experience that. So maybe from the outside, you think that that person is going through difficulties, but really from the inside, he experiences bliss. The fact that not everybody sees that, that's when somebody has a goal and a vision. He goes for that vision. He's focusing on that vision. The rest of the world mocks him. History is full of these kind of stories. And he says, like, you guys, you don't understand. One day you'll see. I see it already. Okay, why? Because when you connect to that place, you have the patience. And then you already feel the memory. You feel that Zohar. You feel that male energy of the Creator coming into you and filling up your thoughts and moves. And that's what says the Zohar, Rotzeh Hashem. It's not that God wants the righteous. It's coming from the word leratzot. Rotzeh means wants, but it means also leratzot, which means to appease. When a person is focusing on the light of the Creator, when a person is focused on the tree of life, he already feels the appeasement. He knows it happens. He does not feel the pressure, the lack, and anxiety because he has that certainty. And certainty is a result of appeasement. Appeasement is a result of connecting to that male force of the Creator, which is, you feel it in your bones, you feel it in your veins, you know it's there. Your brain says, what about this? What about this? And your inner being soul, your real self says, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Why? Because I'm doing the right thing and it fills me up already. I already feel that. So people say, you're a delusional. You're already in your dreams and so on. They said it to Moses. Pharaoh said it to Moses. Where is Pharaoh? In the museum. Where is Moses' legacy? Everywhere around the world. The whole world is still being influenced by Moses' legacy. And what was the legacy of Pharaoh? Nobody knows. The guy we know, the legacy, was a self-occupied, egocentric, narcissistic guy that thought he can take it all to the grave. And the result is he's in the museum with whatever artifacts were left over, right? And were not robbed. Anybody comes to Pharaoh's in the museum and said, oh, Pharaoh, I have to be thankful because thanks to Pharaoh's legacy, my life is great. How many people like this? Oh, there's a handful of people who still think they follow the wisdom of Egypt and it's going to help them. Demise. It's a disaster. Look at Pharaoh. You want his great, you want to follow him, no grace. So Vayritzu means appeasement. And that means that appeasement can last till everybody sees the victory. But the victory is what you see. And that's what's important. So this parasha is so powerful about bringing in the light. And that's what Hanukkah is about. The whole thing about Hanukkah is so simple. Is lighting candles. Where? Low. They have to be like about 8 feet from the ground, not higher than that. Why not higher than that? Because when you're lighting the candles, you have to be standing, holding the candle, and after you say the blessings, you bring the light down. Because you have to concentrate that when the Maccabees fighting the Greek Empire, fighting all of these ideas of Hellenism, that what? We say, oh, Hellenism was really amazing. Yes, watching slaves killing each other in the arena, that was their reality show. Can you side with that? Or watching people being eaten alive by lions? Having those really graceful graceful, amazing people in Athens celebrating democracy. Few hundred parasites living on the work of thousands of slaves. This is your message of great ideas? The Jews didn't like it. The Maccabees didn't like it. They didn't want to live like this. They wanted to live in equality. They didn't want the hierarchy of the Greeks that everybody knows its place. You're a slave and you're a great person. No, no one is great. God is great, and we all trying to be imitating him. Okay? And nobody's a slave. And there was a big fight. And the fight was illogical. And they knew they won the moment they started the fight. Why? Because they felt the appeasement. They felt the connection to the light of God. Why? Because that is what you do when you bring abundance to this world, which is spiritual, not physical. Oh, physical is okay, but that's only a shell. It's a shell. The shell is important, but without the soul, it's empty. Hellenism was about adoring the shell. It's about worshiping the shells, worshiping nothing. What's left of the great civilization of Greece? Some statues? Huh? When was the last time you learned Plato? Huh? When was the last time? No. It's the Torah that is the soul of mankind's advancement. And the Torah which speaks about bringing spirituality, light, equality, grace to this world. And if you don't understand it yet, you still have to study. So have a great week and happy Hanukkah. Thank you so much.